Hey everybody, this is my 125 gallon native tank. I'll try to talk a little quietly here for a moment and stay a few feet away from the tank. Not only do I want you to get a good view of the overall tank, I don't want to startle all of those minnows that are in there. Yesterday I got my minnow trap collected up and there was a bunch of those little brown striped minnows in there. I don't know exactly what they are. They're some sort of Notropis species, I believe. I'm really enjoying them in the tank. Every now and again I've come in and I've seen them up swimming around in a big school, moving around in the tank, and that's what I really want to see in this tank is large schools of small fish. We're going to leave those shiners in there. They're pretty big, and I like the way they look. It's nice having some big fish in a large tank like this. They're not going to be a threat to the minnows. But the minnows swimming around just look awesome. And I know it's not doing any kind of justice here on camera, but if we can get close enough to them without startling them too much, with them underneath of this light, they're actually a lot prettier than I thought they were. I always thought they were just sort of a drab brown color, but they actually have markings very similar to the Siamese algae eater. They have that dark stripe down the side, and then they have this almost gold band above it. And I'm actually seeing one now that actually does look like it's got an injury or some sort of something going on its, I'll call it its forehead. You can see that one that's got that sort of white spot right there in the middle of its head. So I have brought columnaris home from the stream before, and it's wiped out most of the fish in this tank. Although in this case, I think the only fish that would be affected by that would be the new fish that I just brought in. Would be the ones that would be stressed out or possibly injured and be susceptible to that kind of, columnaris outbreak or something. So I'm really enjoying the way it looks with all these minnows swimming around in there. They're getting a lot more comfortable. I thought I was going to have to be really cautious getting up close to the tank because yesterday they were all just, hiding and everything. Obviously they had just gone in the tank, but they haven't even been in there for 24 hours and it already seems like they're learning that I'm the source of food. And they're mingling around in the woodwork and everything, just fantastic. I'm really enjoying the new minnows in here. So what I'm going to do today is, and I know this is going to sound stupid, I really don't feel like going out to the reservoir. It's an absolutely gorgeous day out by looking out the window, but for my taste, it's a little chilly. It's in the 50s, or at least it feels like it's in the 50s. I think it's actually like 60 degrees or something, but it's a bit breezy, and if I get out on the water, I know it's going to be, jacket weather, and like it or not, I'm just, if I got to put a jacket on to go out in my kayak, then it's probably a little chillier than I want it to be going out in my kayak. But nonetheless, I do need to collect up some wood for this tank if I want to re-scape it. And so, like it or not, whether it's chillier than I want it to be, I don't necessarily have to go out there to have fun, but I do need to get out there and get this wood before the weather gets any worse. For all I know, it's going to get chillier and chillier, and, we could have some rainy days coming up. I don't know. So I should take the opportunity while I've got it to get out and really trying to get a look at that pleco there, but I'm getting all kind of glare. The only problem with these open-top tanks is the light that's above them shines on everything around them, and then you see that in the glare on the tank. You can see my canister filter still sitting on the floor right there, reflected in the tank. So I was going to make this the intro to an outdoors video. We were going to go out to the reservoir and shoot some video looking around. I've got one piece of wood out there that I've decided I'm probably just going to go ahead and bring it home. As one of my regular viewers keeps pointing out, if I don't use it in the fish tank, I can always just stick it out in the garden somewhere, so there's no harm in bringing it home at least. I've got another tree stump that I've looked at before, and then I've got a few areas that I know where a lot of driftwood always piles up. And of course, there's, you can go pretty much anywhere up there and find roots and branches and all kinds of wood and driftwood and whatnot. So that's probably what I'm going to wind up doing. I'll probably shoot that as a separate video, and we can do like an outdoors video going out to the reservoir and looking around for some woodwork and stuff. But I keep talking about how I don't know if I'm really going to get in here and do a lot in the way of really rescaping it. And now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it, if you take all that wood out of the tank right here, which isn't much, just 3 or 4 branches, and then I've got that sort of big knotted piece in the back. It's sort of an oddball piece. I saw that out at the reservoir one day, and it was just so beautiful, I decided to bring it home. And then, of course, once I brought it home, I had to do something with it, so I just stuck it in this tank, and it's just never come out. I always just put it in there, and it's never come out. So that might even stay in there. That might feature a different, more prominent role. I can turn it on its side or stand it on its end, or who knows what we might be able to do with that. But I've got a few branches. I've got a big one in the back, and then I've got these two, and that's it. If I pull them out, what am I left with? Down this end, I'm left with a bunch of smaller sort of rocks. I got bigger and bigger as we went in. The idea was to sort of simulate shoreline. You know, we're getting deeper and deeper down into the water, you know, as we go this way. The idea being that we're looking at sort of a cross-section of a lake, you know, being the deep end down here, and then we come over this side and we come up to the shore, hence the tree roots and, you know, the tree coming down this way, and that was the overall idea. So when I get to this end of the tank, I do have a few fairly significant rocks in here, but again, it's like 3 or 4 rocks. They're big and heavy, and they'll be cumbersome to move, but they don't even have to come out of the tank. I can leave them in there, just sort of reposition them. So it's actually not going to be as much effort and work as I thought it was going to be, unless I really do commit to getting in there and getting all of that aquarium gravel out and putting a black substrate in there. I'd really like to do that, but I just don't think I'm going to bother. I really don't. I think I'm just going to do some new woodwork, and we're going to do stuff with the plants, and you know, I've got some big ideas of what I want to do with this tank, but it's going to start with, if not getting this wood out of the tank, at least moving it out of the way and rearranging it and putting a new big centerpiece in there. It's either going to be a big tree stump, or it's going to be something, you know, visually exciting. It's going to be, you know, a very interesting look. It's going to be very different than what we see now. So anyway, I'm going to get on with that. I'm going to go ahead, I guess, shoot a little intro video to set up my outdoors video that I just spoke about. So make sure you're subscribed, and you won't miss that video or any of the other ones I've got coming up as we move into the colder weather. I'm going to be doing less and less of the outdoor stuff, and I'll be doing more and more of the aquarium stuff here on the channel. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that. Don't forget, of course, this one is my 125-gallon native tank. Thanks for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.